Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
They've won 7 in a row. They've been dominant at Citi Field. Lindor's been insane. Pete Alonso's been raking.
Griffin Canning, David Peterson, those guys have pitched really, really well. And when you put it together with that lineup, especially like you said, Lindor's been great. They've got the makings of something very special in Queens.
Pharrell, coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
Derek Carr has called it a career after 11 NFL seasons.
I think they knew before the draft that they had to make a move at this point. And by the way, Derek Carr did have a pretty good career. Made as many Pro Bowls as Eli Manning. So based on that, he should go to the Hall of Fame like Eli Manning. Well, Eli Manning does have a couple rings at that point, but always wanted to take a shot at Manning, who should not actually be in the Hall of Fame. Shouldn't be questioned an under 500 quarterback for his career. Stop the man.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of 15.5 points live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on Sport.
Oh, folks, it is a delightful game time decisions upon us here. Kevin Walsh with you for the next 90 minutes. We've been doing some Moonshot Mondays. We've been mixing it up. It felt like a Tangy Tuesday. We've had Tangy Tuesdays in the past. We have a Tangy Tuesday today. We have a main event. We'll get to it. You know what it is, of course. Thunder Timberwolves, Western Conference Finals, game number 1. Big NHL playoff game, no doubt. But I want to start this off tonight because we got a loaded crew coming in today. Coach James Young, Jared Hochman, Brady Cannon, Dave Sharapan, crew's all here. Hochman, excuse me. Let's put as many picks on the board as we possibly can. It's a Tangy Tuesday. It's a Dinger Tuesday, home run style. I went with one of the 2 shortest options you can find. Aaron Judge. Kind of a lie. Actually, I bet both Judge and Ohtani. Today, we put Judge up there for you. Crew, elsewise, Christian Walker makes the cut for Casino Chris. Max Muncy on the board. Late night in L.A. Struggling L.A. Dodgers might miss the playoffs for Sam Yarnell. AJ Threes. Juan Soto, the redemption spot. Thought he hit one yesterday. At Big Green Monster, got in the way. I don't really mind if a guy is on first. We like a little swagger. He thought it was out. I thought it was out. You thought it was out. It is what it is. Those are your Dinger Tuesday picks. Tuesday tanks, not mad at it. Let's go best bets. Blue Jays Padres over the 7.5. Cease or Bassett, one of them gets bopped. That's how I feel. For AJ's sake, I hope it's Cease. Blue Jays money line, a best bet for him. Casino Chris over the Austin Hayes 1.5 hit run RBI. Root that in. And then Sam Yarnell with a team total under the 2.5 for the Canes. It is a plus price there. That is a interesting number. At home, there's a lot of expectations that we have a low scorer tonight in Carolina, Florida. I don't really agree. So I decided to take that into the Take Me Home parlay of the day. 3 legs, plus 106. I'm looking at this as a nice, cozy blanket. If all else fails, I'll put this on, and it should tuck me in nicely. Canes Panthers over the 3.5. Patrick Corbin not to record the win in the Bronx. Dodgers stop the bleeding. They've lost 4 in a row, all at home. Up comes Yamamoto, money line. I'm not going to do that a lot, but it's going to happen here on a Take Me Home Tuesday all of a sudden. Now, what else do we have for the people? The W tonight. What a slate. 2 games. Aces Sun. Fever Dream. Fever Dream. Give me the Aces team total over the 90.5. Vegas is in a clear and obvious bounce-back spot. Their offense was awful in the game against the Liberty. A much better defense than left for the Connecticut Sun, who gave up 90-plus in their opening game. I think everyone for Vegas can play well. Caitlin Clark. Give me the 10-plus dimes at plus 108. I'm surprised. This is a dropper in the market. This was initially 10.5. Watching all of that opening game as we did it here for you, in-game live, full coverage, Clark finished with 10 assists. It could have been 15, 16, 17. So many looks were created. I think that the pace will be there in the game tonight against the Dream. I think the opportunities will be there for her teammates. We'd love to see another triple-double for the season-long triple-double plays there, but I really like the assist for Caitlin Clark. I figure there's a lot of boosts out there in the market. What if I help you get in the mix where I'm getting in the mix? Taking some shots. Who needs to step up? A couple of three-point shooters. Jewel Lloyd, Jackie Young, Vegas, 2+ each. Jewel Lloyd needs to be much better. We got a lot of volume out of Jackie Young. Caitlin Clark for 3+. Ryan Howard for 3+. That's just volume city. Plus 429 with the boost on it. We get in the mix for the WNBA tonight. How about the NBA? You want a little parlay there? A little safety net? Try and keep it calm. Plus 144. Here's the approach. SGA over the 11.5 rebounds plus assists. SGA to make 1 3. And Edwards to make 2 threes. Plus 144. Kept it simple, kept it safe. That's with the boost. That is with the boost. Here's the deal. SGA making threes, Ant making threes, those are anticipated. It's really just getting a better number on the over 11.5 rebounds plus assist prop that is out there on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in the market. I think he's in a really nice bounce-back spot. He was excellent in the RA department against Minnesota in the regular season. Now we really dive into this game here, which is our main event on this Tuesday. And my favorite bet for this game tonight, my best bet for this game tonight, is Anthony Edwards over 25.5 points. It is going to be very interesting to see how Mark Daigneault and Chris Finch deploy their best guys and the responsibilities that are given to them. But I think Anthony Edwards is significantly more important to what Minnesota has to be on offense in this series than defense in this series. There are a couple of options there for Finch and how he is going to deploy his starters. Very often they want to put Jaden McDaniels on the best player on the other team, which would mean guarding SGA. If he does that, and Edwards can't sit home on Lou Dort and has to guard Jalen Williams. I don't like that approach. Let Jaden McDaniels try and take J-Dub out of the game. Let Ant Edwards sit home on Lou Dort and help Mike Conley off of onto SGA. And I think that'll help Ant conserve as much energy as possible to be the offensive superstar that they need him to be. Because the 26 a game that Ant is giving is not going to be enough. They need 30+ from Anthony Edwards. And they're not going to survive those bad games from Ant Edwards. I don't expect many bad games from Ant. And even if he gives you 1 or 2, I think there'll still be volume. So, give me plus 230, series-long prop, Ant Edwards, 20+ points in every game. Again, that number checks in at plus 230. He did just do this against Golden State. Only missed it once in the series against the Lakers. Yes, that would make it a loser, but I'm getting plus 230 so far, 10 games into the postseason. Only once has he not been able to get there. I like Ant Edwards to have a really big series here against OKC. I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander will also have a phenomenal series because the way Denver sold out in certain spots, anybody but Shai, I think that comes from not having a reliable one-on-one guard defender. They like what they get out of Aaron Gordon, but realistically, who on that team on Denver was supposed to feel like they could lock down SGA? I think SGA will get more one-on-one opportunities. I think all in all, this is a series that Oklahoma City wins. Right now, the thought is in 5 games. And I think SGA is going to be a huge part of that. I expect him to win Western Conference Finals MVP. The way I'm going to play Shea, 1+ made 3 at plus 140. Shea's 3-point volume upticking a little bit it's in every single game of the series. The volume is upticking. Only 5 times in the regular season did he have a game without a made 3. So just on an average basis, we're getting a great number. Only once so far in this postseason did he have a game without a 3. I think it's a really good way to back SGA. I think the swing of this series is the excellent Julius Randle play that we have seen through the first 10 games doesn't hold up. We'll get Coach James Young's thoughts next here on SportsGrid.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of 15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Game Time Decisions live on a Tuesday night. I'm Kevin Walsh with you. We've got a lot to get to here, and we were able to bring in Coach James Young. And let's start with the WNBA so everyone has the most time possible to get action in before that slate does begin. It's a slate that includes the reigning MVP and the MVP favorite. That's A'ja Wilson and the Vegas Aces at Connecticut, and it's the new favorite to win the award, or not new, but bigger favorite in Caitlin Clark after the opening game triple-double. JY, we begin with Fever Dream. Clark, 20-10-10 in game number 1. What do you like in game number 2 for Clark's Fever?
I went to FanDuel and tried to do a player performance double, and it's it's getting better now than when I got it. I'm going Caitlin Clark double, and then the Fever to win. That is coming in at plus 150 right now. Kevin made a good point. When we were doing in-game live with Tom Vecchio on Saturday, she had 10 assists. I counted 4, Kevin, 4 blown layups that easily should have been made and against Chicago, in which it took a little while for Indiana to get going. So I got different pathways to get there. I'm going to take the double Indiana win at plus 150, now at plus 152 on FanDuel.
Yeah, I think that this is a spot where we find out, as impressive as that Fever performance was, and it's the best the Indiana Fever have ever looked with Caitlin Clark on the court, what percentage of that was it was just a game? What percentage of that is how bad Chicago might be? Because the Atlanta Dream are a team that entered with some expectations, bringing in Brittany Griner and Brianna Jones. They did not meet those expectations in the opening game, laying almost double digits at Washington. Now, the Mystics, feisty to start the season with a couple of wins already under their belt. But for Atlanta, they expect better, and it's going to have to be better specifically from Ryan Howard on the Dream. Anything else on that game, Coach, or does the rest of your attention turn to Connecticut and Vegas?
No, I mean, if you could find, the total points, if they have total points scored for Indiana, I would take a look at that, because I just think the way that I saw a little bit of the Washington game, Atlanta's defense is awful. And I think people think, they got Brittany Griner and they got, Brianna Jones. Those are 2 double-barrel bigs. I don't think that style is going to work well for Atlanta. Even Ryan Howard, really good player, but not strong defensively. So maybe if you could find team total over for Indiana, we'll take a look at that, because, Kevin, they scored, 90-some-odd points, and it took them a half to get going. I know Chicago is bad, and Kevin and I were doing a game. They're not bad defensively. They're bad offensively. And I still think that Atlanta will push the pace, and I think you can get up and over team total over for the Indiana Fever tonight.
Connecticut is a 14.5-point home dog now to Las Vegas. While the Sun are really bad, I think it's worth asking, should Vegas on the road be almost a 15-point favorite, considering they're very unencouraging open to the season, JY? What do you expect in this matchup?
Well, Kevin, when I got it, I took this last night at -12. Because I was like, they should be able to beat them. But now it's climbing, and I'm getting concerned. Listen, Vegas was not good offensively in their first game versus the Liberty. And they still hung up 78 points. Connecticut is awful. It's Tina Charles, Marina Mabry, and the Pips. They ain't got no one else, okay? And then you got a prideful team like Vegas. You know this, Kevin. They usually drill bad teams. I mean, they drill bad teams. This is after a really tough spot after losing open night. 2 days of rest. I think they blow them out, but I'm worried about the points. So maybe see if you can tease it down with something else, or look at team total over, because I actually think that you're going to get a huge bounce back spot out of Vegas tonight.
I'm very interested to see how Jewel Lloyd looks in game number 2 with the Vegas Aces. JY, we begin the Western Conference Finals tonight with Oklahoma City and Minnesota. You have the Thunder on short rest. You have the Thunder off of a Game 7. You have the Thunder as a 7-point favorite in this opening game. What do you like here, OKC, Minnesota?
I may be going against a lot of people here, but I like under 218.5. I think, both teams are quite strong defensively, Kevin. I don't think they get enough credit for how good they are defensively. And you got really good defenders on both teams. So I do like the game to go under. And I don't think Minnesota's going to run. And I don't know if OKC can play either style. So I like 218.5. For props, I'm going with Jaden McDaniels over 5.5 rebounds. I think when you look at all the bigs having to block each other out, when you talk about with Randall and Chet, Hartenstein, Reed, Rudy, then you got to have a guy that's going to go ahead and fly in. And that guy I like to fly in is Jaden McDaniels to go over 5.5 rebounds.
I think the rebounding is going to be a really big part of this series. Oklahoma City has to keep Minnesota off of the offensive glass and limit those possessions. It'll certainly be something that I'm watching in the beginning of this game. Were there any bets that caught your eye, JY, series long with the Western Conference Finals?
I kind of want to give it a game and kind of see, because I think the one intriguing thing is I got to see what Dagnall, and you mentioned about it, Dagnall and Finch, like how they match everyone up. That is where I'm kind of looking at. To be honest with you, not to jump ahead, but I have more series-long props in the other series in the East, because I think that's a little bit more where we think guys are going to guard each other and a little bit more of the sample size that I want to see. I'm more comfortable with a couple of plays in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, of course, a really big series tomorrow. I'm sure, JY, you will be live across the network breaking down Knicks Pacers for everybody, which, again, does begin on that Wednesday. Have you locked any one wager in that you want to let the people know before we let you get out of here for the Eastern Conference Finals?
Yeah, really quick. I like Cat to lead the series in scoring. It's been about 4, 5, 6 to 1. Cat averaged 30 points a game. He's going to get 3-point opportunities versus Miles Turner, and I don't know if they will be able to guard him inside if he attacks Miles. Rebounding front, I'm going back to Josh Hart. Miles Turner comes outside, brings Cat with him. This guy flies and rebounds, and Mr. Robinson could take away some minutes from Cat at times. Give me Josh Hart to lead the series in total rebounds.
Going to be a lot of fun to watch that Eastern Conference Finals. It begins tonight, though, of course, for the NBA playoffs with the Western Conference Finals. We'll continue to set the stage after a quick break. We're live with you right here on SportsGrid.
If you believe he should be in the Hall of Fame, there's, let's let him wait another 2 years. Wait, he's already dead at this point. Like, what are you waiting for? Another 2 to 3 years. He's either in or he's out. And sometimes you look at that too, Thomas. If you can't tell, the history of Major League Baseball without Pete Rose.
Frankly, the writers have some standard that they want to hold players to, which seems to fluctuate on a player-to-player basis. So he should be in the Hall of Fame, but I'm not sure how quickly he'll get there.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Your college performance does not relate to the National Football League. It never
does. They played side by side with each other, and he wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. That's an issue. That's a major issue.
It wasn't that it wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers.
Ever got to Texas.
It wasn't that it wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. It was Quinn Ewers' program, which Steve Sarkisian made very clear the entirety of the time that Arch Manning was in Austin. So for you to argue that because Ewers is a 7th-round pick, Arch Manning is not that good and not deserving of being first overall is asinine. It is wrong. It is incorrect.
He's going to be number 1 overall. My whole thing was I'm buying
you're doing your thing now where you double down on a take that is incorrect.
The best quarterback prospect to ever hit college football can't play.
He's
over
not
a 7th-round
There were
pick
2
who didn't even
perfectly
play
rated
good.
quarterback recruits in the history of the sport.
Quinn Ewers couldn't even play at Ohio State. He couldn't even play at Ohio State.
Quinn Ewers. Go look it up.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Game time decisions with you right here on a Tuesday night. The Major League Baseball board is underway. Cubs did start the scoring off a Kyle Tucker home run, I'm sure on a Dinger Tuesday. Someone out there was in the mix with Kyle Tucker. An opportunity, though, before we turn to the top of the hour. Jared Hochman will join us. We'll talk some NHL. We'll talk some Major League Baseball with him just to dive a little bit more into OKC and Minnesota, try and figure out what this series is going to be and figure out how we can consistently attack this matchup. There's a number of interesting series-long wagers that you could play in this one. Some smaller, plus 120, Chet for 10-plus points in every single game. Some longer options like a Rudy Gobert, 1+ block in every single game. That's around plus 330. But I am going to stick with the two that I've already mentioned, which is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to just make 1-3 in every game this series at plus 140. Anthony Edwards for 20-plus points in every game this series at plus 230. It works in my favor and yours if you do bet those options that this is a shorter series. And I am currently expecting this to be a series that goes 5 games. Teams typically off of a 7-game battle will be up against it. They will find themselves at a deficit rest-wise. There's an element, though, to OKC that should prevent this from being at least the typical disadvantage it is for others. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has played only 4 more minutes this postseason than Anthony Edwards. If you look at the key 3 for each of these teams on OKC side, that would be SGA, Chet, J-Dub. And for Minnesota, it would be Ant Edwards, Julius Randle, and Jaden McDaniels. Those are the 3 guys that get the most minutes on all of those teams. We've actually seen 15 more minutes in these playoffs for the Minnesota trio compared to the OKC trio. So I don't think it is wrong to say that there should not be an advantage here for Minnesota rest-wise. Just because the Thunder had to play 7 games, it doesn't remove how rested Minnesota or how Oklahoma City was heading into that series. OKC swept Memphis in round 1 and was given a week off. They never really needed to press down the SGA minutes lever the way typically we see everyone else this postseason have to. SGA played more than 40 minutes once in the entire series, and it was 45 in an overtime game. So he probably wouldn't have if the game didn't go to OT. Well, definitely, because he would have only then played 40 minutes. He played 35 minutes in Game 6 and 36 minutes in Game 7 due to the blowout nature of it all. You take a look at the workload for Anthony Edwards in the series against Golden State, even though it was a shorter series, he had 3 games of over 40 minutes. He was 40 or more minutes in the final 4 games of the series against the Lakers. That means 7 different times SGA's or Edwards has already crossed that minutes barrier. I think that is one of the advantages that typically you would see a team like Minnesota have get mitigated here. Another big thing that I worry about for the Timberwolves is how reliant it feels they are in the moment on Julius Randle playing like an all-star. Because if Julius Randle's regular season looked the way his postseason is, an efficient 24-6-6, Julius Randle's an all-star. That's not who Julius Randle was all regular season. That is not who Julius Randle was really with any consistency for the Knicks in the regular season. And that's nowhere near who Julius Randle was during the playoffs for the New York Knicks. All in all, this has been a successful run for Julius with Minnesota. But considering the Oklahoma City Thunder are the deepest defensive team this league has potentially ever seen, they are going to have a ton of options to throw at Julius Randle. Who only, by the way, played against Minnesota once this season, or against Oklahoma City, once in this regular season, which is pretty stunning in of itself. Didn't do much in the basketball game. Some think that Randle and his strength will be a big issue for Chet Holmgren. One, Chet Holmgren is still one of the most impactful defensive players in the league. 2, that's where the defensive depth of OKC feels like cheating. Because they don't need Chet Holmgren to guard Julius Randle. Chet can guard Rudy Gobert. And then Isaiah Hartenstein can guard Julius Randle. And all of a sudden, things start to get a little bit difficult. And I think that's going to be the case for Minnesota in this series. Their path to competing is Ant Edwards being brilliant. We'll see if he is. We're going to talk more of tonight's slate next right here. It's Game Time Decisions.
If you believe he should be in the Hall of Fame, there's, let's let him wait another 2 years. Wait, he's already dead at this point. Like, what are you waiting for? Another 2 to 3 years. He's either in or he's out. And sometimes you look at that too, Tom. It's like you can't tell, the history of Major League Baseball without Pete Rose.
Frankly, the writers have some standard that they want to hold players to, which seems to fluctuate on a player-to-player basis. So he should be in the Hall of Fame, but I'm not sure how quickly he'll get there.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Your college performance does not relate to the National Football League. It never
does. They played side by side with each other, and he wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. That's an issue. That's a major issue.
It wasn't that it wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers.
Ever got to Texas.
It wasn't that it wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. It was Quinn Ewers' program, which Steve Sarkisian made very clear the entirety of the time that Arch Manning was in Austin. So for you to argue that because Ewers is a 7th-round pick, Arch Manning is not that good and not deserving of being first overall is asinine. It is wrong. It is incorrect.
He's going to be number 1 overall. My whole thing was I'm buying
you're doing your thing now where you double down on a take that is incorrect.
The best quarterback prospect to ever hit college football can't play
He's
over
not
a 7th-round
There were
pick
2
who didn't even
perfectly
play
rated
good.
quarterback recruits in the history of the sport.
Quinn Ewers couldn't even play at Ohio State. He couldn't even play at Ohio State.
Quinn Ewers. Go look it up.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Game Time Decisions live here on a Tuesday night. Kevin Walsh with you on SportsGrid. In-game live at the top of the hour tonight with Dane Martinez and Adam Kaufman. There's going to be a lot of great action that they are covering, including some NHL postseason action. To help us talk about that, Jared Hockman from Covers. We've talked to Jared before. I remember the last time I was talking to you, Jared, I was like, man, my fake, I don't care that much about bracket with Vegas. I hope they go far. Then I ended up finding a way to invest in Vegas. That was a disaster. The 4 teams that are left, though, they feel like the 4 best teams. Before we get into tonight's game, what do you think about what remains in these conference finals?
Yeah, Kevin, I mean, you're right. We've got 4 very, very good teams. I mean, the Panthers are the defending champions. They might be even better than last year. Like, they're really, really deep. The Hurricanes, same thing. I know they had that little tumultuous stretch with Rantanen where they got him, they traded him again, but they've got a deep team. They come. And then you look on the west side, you've got Edmonton, which got rid of Dispatch Vegas, but it's a rematch of last year's Western Finals with Edmonton and Dallas. Dallas, who has Mikko Rantanen, they're loaded. Miro Heiskanen's back. And then for the Oilers, like on paper, the roster doesn't look that great, but it's Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. So when you've got those 2 who are the 2 best players in the world, everyone's kind of feeding off it. So I think we're going to have 2 really deep series going here. We got 2 kind of teams that both play very similar. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how it all transpires here over the next 2 weeks.
So then taking a look here at tonight's game between Carolina and Florida, the books clearly expect it to be very difficult to score. 5.5s, minus 130 I'm seeing right now towards that under. Carolina, a slight home favorite. What are you expecting here to open this series?
Okay, yeah, I'm kind of on the same side. Like, you look at the under here. Like, you look at both teams, they play very defense first. You've got that top 6 on both sides. Great 2-way players. Barkov and Reinhart are both Selke finalists in Florida. You've got, Aho and Svechnikov and those guys in Carolina. Great blue lines as well. But the thing I'm looking at the most, too, is you look at Florida, they've got a little bit of an advantage with the 3rd line. So I look at that Brad Marchand, Anton Lundell, Edo Luostarinen against, I think, Jordan Stahl, Jordan Martinook, and William Carrier. There's more talent there. There's more skill there. And I trust Bobrovsky a little bit more than Freddie Anderson. So I think the Panthers are actually still the way to go here. I'm also looking at them to win tonight on the money line. Little rest versus rust. They haven't really had much time off. They won on Sunday. They're going to kind of keep it going. I think the Panthers, I think it's going to be really hard fought. tough, low scoring, but I think the Panthers' edge on the depth on the third line, I think that's going to make the difference. I'm also kind of looking at with that a player prop for the night, and that is Brad Marchand to get a point. And to me, Kevin, it's crazy that you can still find this at plus money. He's found the score sheet in 7 of his last 9 playoff games. This is kind of exactly why Florida got him at the deadline, right? He's been there before. He's won cups. He can grind. He's not the first liner he used to be, but he still has talent. He has skill. He's playing well with Lindell and Listerainen. And I think, that a talent advantage they have over Carolina's third line, that's going to be the difference. They're going to get a lot of chances to get quality scoring tonight. So I'm looking for Marchand and those boys to continue on as the Panthers strike first blood on the road. What should be a game, like you said, where goals come at a premium.
I wonder if the justification for the short number for a point for Brad Marchand is the total. The thing is, you have a lot of guys with shorter odds than him, despite him leading Florida in points in the postseason. Is it ridiculous to suggest that if he was still wearing a Bruins uniform, this number wouldn't be what it is?
Oh, you're 100% right. It's because he's on the third line and he's not playing on the power play. But you look at these teams like Florida's top line and Carolina's top line are probably going to cancel out Barkov and Aho and them. They're going to go against each other. You look at the second line with Kachuk and Bennett, and they're going to go against Taylor Hall and Roslovic and Stankoven. They're probably going to cancel each other out. So then you're left with Marchand, who's going to be maybe the most talented player on the ice for a lot of 5-on-5 against Carolina's more defensive-minded, a little bit slower third line. And to me, it looks like value. I mean, yes, he's not the most skilled player on that team, but just the opportunity and advantage, and with how well he's playing, just makes sense to me to look at him to come through in a big game.
Take it over to the baseball slate here tonight, Jared. Patrick Corbin is going, and I just I took him in a nonsensical but not really like this better win parlay to not record the win. I refuse to believe that there are people who are going to try and tell me that Patrick Corbin, at this point in his career, should have a successful start in Yankee Stadium. I don't care how things have gone for him. Where are you at on Patrick Corbin heading into this game?
Yeah, I'm looking at him to issue a couple of walks. I like the over 2.5 at plus money. He's walked 2+ in 4-7 starts, and all 3 of his road starts. Listen, you're at Yankee Stadium. You can't afford to give up good contact because the ball's going to leave, especially that right field short porch. And then the Yankees, they have the highest walk rate in baseball versus lefties. Bellinger's got a career history of getting walks against him. LeMahieu, Judge will always take a walk or 2. And the thing about Corbin, where I kind of like your not to get the win, but he does kind of go 5 innings. Like they slot him in there. He kind of logs us out. So he's going to have a leash to rack up the walks there. So I'm looking at Corbin to try and dance around the Yankee lineup that's hot well, probably issue some free passes. I like your not to get the win as well because I don't believe in him.
Listen, here's what I'm thinking. First 3 batters, walk, walk, walk. Who's ever hitting fourth tonight? Grand slam. Let's move this puppy along here, quite frankly. Late night, we've got the Angels and the A's. I still don't think it's not cores, but, man, a lot of these A's games, these totals, you can tell it's a lot more than just pitching matchups dictating those numbers. You expecting runs here tonight?
I'm expecting a lot of runs here, Kevin. I love the over here, 10.5. Listen, that Sutter Park, it's seen 11+ runs in 13 to 22 games so far. And like you said, we've got kind of bad pitching as well. The Halos just scored, 23 runs against the Dodgers in a 3-game series, 10th in offense in May. But they're sending out Kyle Hendricks. He's allowed 3+ runs in 6 of his last 7, followed by a bullpen that is dead last in baseball at ERA. You look at the A's, they're not far behind. I think their bullpen's the 3rd highest ERA. They give up a ton of runs at home, something they've been doing. Winds blowing out to right field. Again, I think, you've got 2 teams that are swinging the bats well, 2 kind of iffy pitchers, bad bullpens. I think we're going to rack it up again.
The A's last night didn't help me out. I had a 3.5 all-team total trying to get there. They started that game, by the way, the scenario that we're talking about for the Yankees, I believe it was walk, hit by pitch. They finished with 2 runs in the first, could not find 2 more the rest of that game. I don't think that'll be the case for you tonight.
No, you got hurt by Soriano. He had a good little start there, keeping the ball on the ground, but Kyle Hendricks is not him.
Certainly. There's some guys, man. You see these names, you're like, hey, you should not be out there still. Kyle Hendricks kind of fits that description. Does Ryan Nelson fit that description? Going up against the Dodgers tonight. The Dodgers now To some degree, man, you got to be careful with them. There's no way they lose again, but I'm looking at 4 straight home losses and Yamamoto's on the mound. Come on, there's no way they lose again.
They shouldn't, but you know what? I'm staying away from that, Kevin, because I don't trust this team right now, but I do trust them to score some runs. I'm going kind of, you hinted to it, Ryan Nelson, over 2.5 earned runs, also plus money. Listen, the biggest threat here is how long of a leash he's get. He's made 10 appearances, only 1 start, but he pitched in the 5th that game. So I'm hoping he can go at least 4 innings, maybe 5. Should be time for the potent Dodgers lineup to do damage. Listen, he's got an ERA north of 5. He doesn't miss many bats. Opposing starters have given up 3 runs in 4 of the Dodgers' last 6 games. Teoscar Hernandez is back. So let's hope they kind of pound at Nelson early. Maybe Yamamoto can get it done, and then we kind of just roll through to this win. But yeah, I don't know what's going on with this team that's supposed to win 161 games before the season started.
Yeah, we'll look back on this interesting 4-game home losing streak as maybe what kept them outside of a historic level. Jared, appreciate it. As always, we'll head over to the PGA Tour next on SportsGrid.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
2 guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of 15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
All right, live at the right here. We are on SportsGrid. It is Game Time Decisions. Right now, the WNBA slate is live. The Aces have 2 players that are outscoring the Connecticut Sun on their own. Vegas with 15, 7 belonging to Aja Wilson, 8 belonging to Jackie Young, 4 just for the Connecticut Sun. 15-10 early lead for the Dream over the Fever. Clark, though, with a good start with 3 rebounds and 2 assists. We're tracking always those triple-doubles. Major League Baseball wide, it's actually 3-3 now with Washington and Atlanta. Spencer Strider back on the mound today for the Braves. So that'll be certainly an interesting and important start to follow. Miami did grab one back against Chicago, so we're now actually even there after a Fortes home run. Nothing else moving just yet on the baseball board. It is that time of year, though, where on a regular basis, you're working in your baseball, you're working in your basketball, and then every Thursday you go, should I bet Scotty this week? And if you did it last week, great job. If you do it this week, what a number, because everybody else looks like they got an odds boost next to their name. To help us break it down, it's Brady Cannon. Brady, always great to talk to you when we have a fun tournament. Before we get to the Charles Schwab, I just want to ask you, what was your biggest takeaway from last week's major championship and Scotty ultimately running away with it?
I love that setup, Kevin. And you're right. Now Scotty's going for 3 wins in a row. Of course, he won the week before the PGA and now trying to win the week after. And it looks like you mentioned, what's the biggest takeaway? One thing is I think the Scotty that we've witnessed for the past couple of seasons is back in full form. That's 2 wins in a row. And the second one being a major championship in which he was dominant. We were a little skeptical about, okay, is the hand injury really bothering him? He got off kind of to a late start. Didn't look like he wasn't bad. Obviously, he's finishing top 10 and, finished top 5 at the Masters. Not exactly shabby, but it wasn't the Scotty dominance that we had been used to the past couple of seasons where, this guy now, I believe, is winning at a Tiger-like clip. 30% of the tournaments he's starting in, 25-30% of the tournaments he is playing in, he is winning. And now we're seeing it again start to develop here in 2025. That was a great tournament. I had 2 runner-ups last week. I had Harris English at 200-1, who finished second, and Bryson DeChambeau, a much shorter shot, who also finished second. But after Bryson fell apart on the final 3 holes on Saturday and Scotty conversely pulled away, this tournament never felt close again. And kind of overnight talking with my wife and friends, what's going to happen? How's it going to unfold on Sunday? Scotty's unflappable. He does not come back to the pack. It's very much like Tiger. He is a tremendous front runner. We didn't see Tiger blow too many 54-hole leads, and I don't think we're going to see Scotty blow too many for a while either.
No, it's one of those things, the way Scotty closed, it was incredibly impressive. It did a little cover the Jon Rahm close from being a bigger story, because if by my count, 5 over his last 3 holes for Jon Rahm,
something again, like that, yeah. It was
it's interesting because for Rahm, finishing, top 10 at a major championship, awesome. A moment where you feel like you're in it, awesome. That's not supposed to be the standard for Jon Rahm, though. The standard for Jon Rahm is supposed to be at every single... Anyone who bet Jon Rahm to win this tournament should, right, when Rahm was at his peak, be like, we should have done better. Instead of be like, good bet and had a chance is what it is. Now, I know we're not going to have any Rahm on the course, this week, but it's a push and pull, Brady. I thought he was clearly, to me, from what I was following, the second biggest story of this tournament, where he then even makes the comment, man, I haven't felt that in a really long time. Just the joy he seemingly had from being out there and competing at the highest level. It brings up a lot of interesting comments then around him making the decision to go to LIV. Just a fascinating week, really, for Jon Rahm.
Totally agree with you. And you're right. He hints at a whole nother topic of conversation about being in the mix there for a major. He's going to go on and on about having no regrets and stuff like that. But I think there is some regret deep down inside. Now he gets to play in these majors. Brandel Chambly has made the comments, that the LIV Tour does not prepare the players well enough for the major championships. And I tend to agree. Some people are out there showing a bunch of numbers to disprove that. But I think on the surface, that's absolutely true. They only play 3 rounds. They don't play 4. Rahm is never taken to the rock and roll music nature and I think he prefers a much more structured atmosphere where we're chasing history and playing for the gods of the game, like Seve Ballesteros, his personal hero. and playing alongside guys like Scotty Scheffler, who are nothing but business out there. And I think Brooks Koepka is kind of at that point as well. Those are the two guys for me on LIV that I feel the bloom is off the rose, and they'd really like to come back and get back to what they were used to doing. I mean, Koepka won the PGA a couple of years ago. I know he was a member at the LIV, but since then, look at what he's done lately. It just hasn't been the same Brooks, and I feel it could be a different story if he was still part of the PGA Tour. Also, you talk about Rahm kind of unfolding there at the end. To go back to Scotty for a minute, both Saturday and Sunday, he made those 3 hardest holes on the golf course look incredibly easy. That's something to behold as well.
Yeah, certainly. And we're going to keep Brady around here. We'll get into his action for the Charles Schwab. I'll just say, when it comes to LIV, for Bryson's in the hunt now, it feels like at all these tournaments. So maybe it works for Bryson, but it might not work for everybody. And that
Bryson's
feels
different.
You can tell completely. Bryson is and I know social media ages golfer, right? It feels like a completely, even though I think Rahm might be younger than him, but it's just completely different lifestyles and approaches. I think, and for Rahm, I don't know if he comes back. I'll say though, because I don't think all the blame, because sometimes people use that to blame LIV. Rahm getting paid and playing on LIV shouldn't take away his competitive edge, and if it does, that falls a lot more on Rahm than anyone else. We'll talk Charles Schwab with Brady next, right here on Sports.
If you believe he should be in the Hall of Fame, there's, let's let him wait another 2 years. Wait, he's already dead at this point. Like, what are you waiting for? Another 2 to 3 years. He's either in or he's out. And sometimes you look at that too, Tom. It's like you can't tell, the history of Major League Baseball without Pete Rose.
Frankly, the writers have some standard that they want to hold players to, which seems to fluctuate on a player-to-player basis. So he should be in the Hall of Fame, but I'm not sure how quickly he'll get there.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Your college performance does not relate to the National Football League. It never
does. They played side by side with each other, and he wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. That's an issue. That's a major issue.
It wasn't that it wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers.
Ever got to Texas.
It wasn't that it wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. It was Quinn Ewers' program, which Steve Sarkisian made very clear the entirety of the time that Arch Manning was in Austin. So for you to argue that because Ewers is a 7th-round pick, Arch Manning is not that good and not deserving of being first overall is asinine. It is wrong. It is incorrect.
He's going to be number 1 overall. My whole thing was I'm buying
you're doing your thing now where you double down on a take that is incorrect.
The best quarterback prospect to ever hit college football can't play.
He's
over
not
a 7th-round
There were
pick
2
who didn't even
perfectly
play
rated
good.
quarterback recruits in the history of the sport.
Quinn Ewers couldn't even play at Ohio State. He couldn't even play at Ohio State.
Quinn Ewers. Go look it up.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Charles Schwab Challenge, Scotty Scheffler at the top, plus 240. Then it is Daniel Berger and Jordan Spieth at 22-1. You're either betting Scotty or you got yourself quite a menu to work through here and find some value. So, Brady, I send it to you. What's the approach here on the PGA Tour?
Well, first of all, this is a classic golf course. Colonial Country Club will be hosting this tour event for the 79th time. Other than Augusta National, no golf course has hosted as many PGA Tour events at the same venue as many times. And this is a classic. And this is kind of, I called it earlier on social media today, the legend trifecta. We go from Byron Nelson's tournament now to Ben Hogan's tournament, and next week is Jack Nicklaus's tournament. This course was called Hogan's Alley, or is called Hogan's Alley, because Ben Hogan won here a record 5 times. And that's something to think about as well. Hogan won the U.S. Open 4 times. I believe what guys do at Colonial can be an indicator of how they should fare at a U.S. Open, because so much here is about ball striking and accuracy and precision and putting, which was really Ben Hogan's, the signatures of his game. So keep that in your back pocket as well. Possible foreshadowing to U.S. Open results, maybe. Not every single U.S. Open, but a pretty good skill set to have at any U.S. Open is what you'll need here at Colonial this week. I landed on Berger, Kevin. I didn't land on Scotty, first of all. Mm-hmm. And I don't think, plus 250, plus 240, I don't think that's an awful price, actually. Does he have a 10 times better chance to win this event than Jordan Spieth or Daniel Berger? Doesn't seem like he does, but I mean, the guy's odds for the PGA Championship were about plus 450. That's now been cut in half. And for the U.S. Open, he's down to just over 3-1. I mean, boy, and is he going to win here for a third week in a row? Why not? But I just couldn't go there. And I did the same thing with Bryson last week. I knew he was going to be very popular, but I couldn't leave him off the card because he made too much sense at that golf course, and he ended up finishing second. Daniel Berger will probably finish second to Scotty this week, and I knew he was going to be very popular, but he also makes just a ton of sense at this golf course. Hits it straight, great on approach, can putt. Everything makes sense for Berger. So I went with him at 23. And then I took Maverick McNeely and JT Poston, both at 40-1, who both came off of very good finishes last week at the PGA. Poston finished 5th. And then I went a little bit deeper to Harry Hall and Thorbjorn Olesen at 75 and 80-1. And then finally a long bomb on Nico Echeverria at 135-1. All of the guys this week, Kevin, have done really, really well on what the type of course is that is Colonial. And that's what we see at YLA Country Club for the Sony Open. We see it at Harbor Town for the RBC Heritage, Sea Island for the RSM Classic. Those shorter, narrow, positional, ball-striking, heavy golf courses. And all of the guys on my card this week have done especially well at those courses. So that's the model, basically, or the profile that I wanted to find and plug the right players into. And no surprise, Scotty comes out number 1 on my board when I crunch all the numbers. Yeah. But again, am I going to go there? Sometimes I will. I bet on Scotty at plus 225 before at the Hero World Challenge when he was up against just 19 other players, and he won. I've hit him twice in a row there in back-to-back years, but you never know, especially off of a monumental major victory. He's done it before. I believe he's gone to the Masters and slipped on a green jacket and then won at Harbor Town the very next week. Is he going to do that again? Heck, he might, but this is another thing, Kevin. Like I told you in the last segment, I had 2 guys finish runner-up at the PGA, right?
Yeah.
But still, it's starting to feel like trying to beat Tiger did about 25 years ago. The guy's even money or plus 150 or plus 250 to win a major, and you're like, oh gosh, I gotta take Phil and VJ and David Duval, and there goes Tiger again. He wins.
The thing, it's a conversation that you and I have had about Scotty specifically in the past that he's minus 600 for a top 20. And the thing is,
want a free $100?
In what world is he not finishing top 20 at this tournament? Also,
somebody will have to arrest him.
And even then, I mean, if he gets out there, plays the course with one hand, he might figure it out. Brady, appreciate it.
Guy's
as always.
Good, man. It's fun to watch.
Yeah. All right, we'll be back with you right here. More Game Time decisions on Sports.
If you believe he should be in the Hall of Fame, there's, let's let him wait another 2 years. Wait, he's already dead at this point. Like, what are you waiting for? Another 2 to 3 years. He's either in or he's out. And sometimes you look at that too, Tom. It's like you can't tell, the history of Major League Baseball without Pete Rose.
Frankly, the writers have some standard that they want to hold players to, which seems to fluctuate on a player-to-player basis. So he should be in the Hall of Fame, but I'm not sure how quickly he'll get there.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Your college performance does not relate to the National Football League. It never
They
does.
played side by side
Yes.
with each other, and he wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. That's an issue. That's a major issue.
It wasn't
the
that
best
it wasn't as
quarterback
good as
prospect
Quinn
they've ever
Ewers.
got to Texas.
It wasn't that it wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. It was Quinn Ewers' program, which Steve Sarkisian
Why
made
would it be
very
Quinn
clear
Ewers' program?
the entirety of the time that Arch Manning was in Austin. So for you to argue that because Ewers is a 7th-round pick,
Quinn
Arch
Ewers'
Manning is
team.
not that good and not deserving of being first overall is asinine. It is wrong.
I
It
just
is
told you
incorrect.
he's going to be number 1 overall. My whole thing was I'm
you're
buying
doing
it
your
because
thing now
I
where you
expect him to
double
have this
down on a
season.
take
No, I'm
that
not
is
doing
incorrect
that. The
when I
best
show it's
quarterback
incorrect.
prospect to ever hit college football can't play
He's
over
not,
a 7th-round
There were
pick
two
who didn't even
perfectly
play
rated
good.
quarterback
Stop
recruits
it.
in the
Stop
history of
it.
the sport.
Quinn
Vince
Ewers couldn't
Young
even play at
and
Ohio
Quinn
State.
Ewers.
He couldn't even play at
Vince
Ohio
Young
State.
and Quinn Ewers. Go look it up.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Okay, live with you right here on SportsGrid. Let's update you quickly on the live board. Right now, the Dream do lead the Fever at the end of that first quarter. Clark with 5 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists. 2 triple-doubles to start the season would be quite incredible for the season-long triple-double ladder. You couldn't possibly do better than that. It is the Dream who are leading. They've not flipped to favorites up until this point. We will keep eyes on that. If you are live better, if you're a WNBA fan, I'm sure you'll be looking to see if that opportunity does arise. The Ace is off to a really nice start against the Sun, but a little bit of pop here offensively from Connecticut. It does have that back under double digits right now with Vegas on the road. Major League Baseball board, Toronto 1-0 thanks to Vladdy Jr. hitting a homer in the first. Washington does pull back in front of Atlanta off of a Dylan Cruz home run, unfortunately, on my bench. In fantasy, as I forgot to check my lineup in time. Astros up 1-0 on Tampa Bay. Stros maybe getting a little bit hot early here. Scoreless elsewhere on your Major League Baseball board. Who?
Oh, no.
I tell you what, if you bet Walker Buehler under the outs recorded on his first day back, good for you. Apparently he was just tossed from this game. Now, is that a reliable bit of sourcing? I think so. Because are the guys in the back watching the show or watching the Mets Red Sox?
Oh!
I would imagine they're finding a way to watch both. Consig, it is good to see you here on a Tuesday. Let me start with this. The NHL tonight has a game that the books seem certain is going under. What do you make of that total? 5.5 minus 130 under.
Listen, if it was our book, we could sit and go back and forth and go, you know what, just make it 5 and let him bet over. And if it falls 5, that's fine. I'm good with the under. I think it does go under. Did a little research here before the show. Don't tell anybody, but that happens. 3-2. Either way, exact score, 24-1 on both. So you get a Florida 3-2, a Carolina 3-2. Either way, big payoff. I think it stays under, Kev. I really do. Was on earlier with Carver and Farrell. Carver said it. It's a must-win for Carolina, hence the line. If they don't win, them losing home ice right away, I mean, it's gonna extend the series. I think Florida doesn't have to win tonight and win the series. I really think Carolina has got to get this one first. They're so evenly matched. I really feel like power plays are going to be at a premium. Even strength goals, they're almost exactly the same. So good hockey game. I mean,
yeah,
I'm impressed you led with this. This was, I mean, you're a hockey guy at heart. I love this.
Well, listen, wanted to give it some time. I want to make sure that I am. So listen, I'm a hockey guy, but also respect to the day in, day out hockey guys.
Right.
I don't understand the notion that Florida would be much better than Carolina. I feel almost to some degree that some of the prices are Florida, Edmonton last year. They're still here. Must be them again. Carolina, albeit slightly, but did finish with a better record in the regular season. Yes. Carolina is not the one who was playing a Game 7 last round. And I don't want to hear about how much better Toronto is than Washington. That doesn't work for me. Not when Toronto has the negative postseason pedigree that they have, and Washington ultimately had the better regular season. I'm not telling you I like Carolina. I think that this is the first game of a series. Listen, Game 6, Game 7, maybe all of those will end 1-0. I think this game has more juice than everybody else to start. But I don't understand, and what Carver said does seem to be backed up by the books, but what is this panic in the streets for Carolina?
I don't know what it is. It's been a thing for the past couple of years with Carolina's power rating is so much higher than what you see. And there's been arguments. I mean, I've had arguments with guys for 3-4 years now that I sometimes don't give Carolina credit for being that elite team. Maybe it's, I mean, just look at their goal scorers tonight. Like you don't know half the names. You don't know how to pronounce half the names. They're a team. They're a true team where, and even Anderson and net, I mean, like Bobrovsky, Anderson just makes a save, covers the puck. Like there's no, they don't need him to stand on his head, right? It's like make 23 saves. That's his number and just move on. Limit chances. So I don't want to say they're boring, but every game against the Caps went under except one.
Yep.
Expect that this series. Unless Florida turns it into more of a street fight and they get more power plays, things like that. Somebody just hit a home run for the Yankees. I don't know who it is.
Judge?
I can't see it from here. Nope, it was not Judge.
Ben Rice.
Nope.
Wow.
22. Yes,
the Rice
sir.
is
22.
right.
We need LeMahieu tonight for Dinger Tuesday.
That's
career
wild.
Numbers against Corbin. Big career numbers.
Judge doesn't have good career numbers against Patrick Corbin. Makes me like him even more. Speaking actually of Carolina, Florida, speaking of the Yankees, you'll like this, Dave. I was having fun. It's a Tuesday. Why not?
Yeah.
Little take me home special. How does this lose? Anybody who cost me this, I'll never forgive you. Plus 106 on a 3-legger. Canes Panthers over the 3.5. Patrick Corbin not to record the win. LA Dodgers money line. Yamamoto snapped the streak.
Ooh. Wow. I didn't know this. I like to take me home. But I'm wearing, this is a Diamondbacks hat.
Sure is.
And a Diamondbacks jersey.
Real nice.
Yeah. Sharp stuff. I like the Diamondbacks tonight.
Now you don't.
Nelson.
No.
Nelson's got really good numbers. Listen, he's got a 1.50 ERA against the Dodgers. And all these, I'm telling you, he pitches good against them. This one may take you all the way to bedtime. You may have to take me home, go to sleep, win this in the 8th or the 9th. I mean, I don't know. I'm sorry.
Here's the thing.
Got to pick against the Dodgers until they win.
No, see, if you've been doing it for any length of time beyond last night, sure. Like if you game number 1 were like, I don't know, Angels are live here. Boom. You know what? Maybe they get them again. All right, let's just keep going.
Yeah.
But, and I'm not saying you are, but anybody who swoops in, Dodgers might not win again. 7-0 through 3, huh? All right, so that's okay. We'll get them tomorrow. Like that's What's the game tomorrow? How about this? Let's handle this already. What's the Wednesday game? It's May against Burns.
No, see, I'm seeing it clear as day.
Oh.
I'm seeing it clear as day because that's going to be a short number. Dodgers come back, they win this series. Can they give it to me now? No, Dodgers about to get hot. You know what? I'm going to be the first person that tells you this. The Dodgers are good. Oh, they don't let you parlay today's game and tomorrow's game. Minus 138 Dodgers at home. Not at this one shop.
Okay, all right. I was going to say that's more than welcome to do that. I would love you for you to do that. If I'm the book, parlay today and tomorrow. You win today, and I don't have to pay you, and you still have to win tomorrow.
That's right.
What's wrong with that?
That's not bad. Exactly. I got
Yeah.
That's one of those where the computer's like, no, but if a human was watching it, it'd be like, we love this guy. Let's get him a profit boost. Let's get him.
Listen, I'll call. You remember Wimpy from Popeye? I'll get a hamburger today and pay you on Tuesday. We'll call it the Kevin Walsh special.
Oh man, no, that's good stuff, man.
The parlay today and get paid tomorrow.
No, that's good stuff.
I mean, FanDuel, if you're watching, give Walsh a thing here. This is good.
Again, like in the book, the human interactions, it was get him a drink ticket. But now, if it's just all online, it's like, all right, send him a profit boost and tell him we love him. Tell him we love his work. Give him, send him a 25%er and tell him keep it coming.
Ask him if he likes anything in the basketball while you're at it.
Wow. If you had to guess. Do we like anything in the basketball? We'll talk about it with Consig and you right here on a Tuesday night.
If you believe he should be in the Hall of Fame, there's, let's let him wait another 2 years. Wait, he's already dead at this point. Like, what are you waiting for? Another 2 to 3 years. He's either in or he's out. And sometimes you look at that too, Tom. It's like you can't tell, the history of Major League Baseball without Pete Rose.
Frankly, the writers have some standard that they want to hold players to, which seems to fluctuate on a player-to-player basis. So he should be in the Hall of Fame, but I'm not sure how quickly he'll get there.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Your college performance does not relate to the National Football League. It never
They
does.
played side by side with each other, and he wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. That's an issue. That's a major issue.
It wasn't that he wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers.
Ever got to Texas?
It wasn't that he wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. It was Quinn Ewers' program, which Steve Sarkisian made very clear the entirety of the time that Arch Manning was in Austin. So for you to argue that because Ewers is a 7th-round pick, Arch Manning is not that good and not deserving of being first overall is asinine. It is wrong. It is incorrect.
I told you he's going to be number 1 overall. My whole thing was I'm buying
you're doing your thing now where you double down on a tape
no, I'm
that
not
is
doing
incorrect.
That. The best quarterback prospect to ever hit college football can't play.
He's
over
not,
a 7th-round
There were 2
who didn't even
perfectly
play
rated
good.
quarterback recruits in the history of the sport.
Quinn Ewers couldn't even play at Ohio State. He couldn't even play at Ohio State.
Quinn Ewers. Go look it up.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Right here on SportsGrid, and on that Major League Baseball board right now, not a ton of movement. Yanks are up 1-0 thanks to Ben Rice. Aaron Judge due up this inning, I think. Is that right? I made that up. Try to will it into existence. Not true. But maybe he gets up. That'd be great. That'd be great. We'd love to see it on a Dinger Tuesday. Let's reset for people. Consig loves these. Tank Tuesdays, as they prefer to call it, where everybody's at. Some of these are already live. Judge, Christian Walker, Max Muncy, Juan Soto. So we're in
We're in the field of play on 75% of these. Yarnese takes the diamond a little bit later with the Max Muncy plus 420. Some of the best bets, those are already underway as well. Jays Padres over the 7.5. Austin Hayes over the 1.5 hit run RBI. Can we get a pulse check? What's the story from Austin Hayes early? 0 for 2. Not great. Not great. If I know Casino Chris, he's not worried at all. He's like, hey, a lot of game left. If I know Chris.
He's in the gym. He's not even.
Jays money line. Great start. Need more runs. Great start. Canes team total under. A lot of Bobrovsky love there. A lot of hockey all of a sudden. A lot of hockey all of a sudden. Gonna have to zag on that. NBA, let's reset them for you. And Edwards, I love him over the 25.5 tonight. Oh. The Ant prop, I think, cooks in a little bit just how good Oklahoma City is defensively. I can respect that. I don't think, if you tell me, hey, Ant averages 30 a game in this series, do you still want to pick OKC to win it? Yes. Because I think that is kind of that's the only, now it doesn't mean it's not going to maybe be the best bet of all time. If you tell me Ant averages 30 and Julius Randle averages 25 again, okay, now it's panic button season. Because, but I don't see that path there for Minnesota. I think Ant will have a ton on his plate offensively. I think he's so excited to meet this moment against the 68-win team back in the Western Conference Finals. Last year, Ant, when he got to the Western Conference Finals, on his own mention, kind of out of gas, really slow start in that series, 19 points on 6 of 16 shooting, but he didn't have this kind of break, this level of experience. I think Ant Edwards tonight, Consig, has a really great game. Anything you're hearing around Minnesota and OKC game number 1?
Okay, Dub, when you look at the number, it's coming down. And there's a lot of people that are saying that the books took a little bit of a shot and maybe put that number a little bit too high initially. I hit refresh now. It's 7. There's a couple books dealing 7 minus 0.5. There's 2 books out here. It's 6.5. So all the 7.5s have been gobbled up and gone. I like OKC to win the series as well. Now, does that mean they win and cover tonight? I like that bet where you bet the team to win game 1 and win the series because it lowers that series price a lot if you do that tonight with OKC. Do they cover? I don't know. That 7 it's hovering. I said it to Matt today on BBB. I'll say it again. I don't think the spread comes into play. I think OKC wins and covers, or Minnesota wins. That's where I'm at with it.
With the dropping number, it becomes increasingly likely. I will remind people, though, the Oklahoma City Thunder in games 4 and 5 won without covering. So if you grabbed points in every game of that series, which you did have with Denver, you walked away 5-2. Of course, all your wins, but that did go your direction. Now, I think the game 2 bet will feel a little bit easier than a game 1 side bet. OKC wins by a gazillion. Oh, the 9 that they really want to put up is up. Yes. Here comes Minnesota. Minnesota steals it. Books go to 6. We're like, thanks, awesome. This is by 60. That that you're going to look to zag game 2. Me, I almost want to. I want to zig on the zag though. I love OK. Like here's the thing. OKC wins game 1 by a lot. And then the sharp money comes in and drops the game 2 line because no way Minnesota goes down 0-2. I'm going to be talking up the Minnesota side, the OKC side of it. Because OKC, the one number I looked at, they do the markets consig for series score after 3. I was a little interested in Thunder 3-0, which is just because here's why. And that reaction is the reaction many would have. It's a plus 270 number. But if OKC wins the first 2 games on their home floor, I'm sitting on plus 270 going into game 3. And OKC should win the first 2 games.
Yes, they should. they'll be this number again, regardless of what happens tonight, unless somebody gets hurt or something. They're going to be -7, minus this on the money line. So you're right. You'll have a nice little opportunity to work with.
Yeah.
I think they win both. I do. We'll see. To the total, I'm not sure. I really don't know. And then the other thing is I was looking at how to price. I was looking at exactas before we came on. OKC over the Knicks was around plus 170 out here. And OKC over the Pacers was plus 270. And I thought, if you'd like OKC, you lock in that price. I don't know who's going to win the other series, Kevin. I'm not even playing. I have no idea right now. If you had to, back me into a corner, I think I like the Pacers. But I don't know.
I have more work to do today. We had a busy day. I want to get all my West stuff in. I'll tweet out anything, but my on the surface thought is Knicks in 7. But what does that mean? Where do we attack the numbers? I don't know yet. So it's going to be a really fun series, though. I told you this the other day. I'm interested. I think I did. I'm interested in that conference finals MVP market outside of the top guys. We'll close it out here on this Tuesday. Quick break. It's Game Time Decisions.
If you believe he should be in the Hall of Fame, there's, let's let him wait another 2 years. Wait, he's already dead at this point. What are you waiting for? Another 2 to 3 years. He's either in or he's out. And sometimes you look at that too, Tom. It's like you can't tell, the history of Major League Baseball without Pete Rose.
Frankly, the writers have some standard that they want to hold players to, which seems to fluctuate on a player-to-player basis. So he should be in the Hall of Fame, but I'm not sure how quickly he'll get there.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Your college performance does not relate to the National Football League. It never
They
does.
played side by side with each other, and he wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. That's an issue. That's a major issue.
It wasn't that he wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers.
Ever got to Texas.
It wasn't that he wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. It was Quinn Ewers' program, which Steve Sarkisian made very clear the entirety of the time that Art Fanning was in Austin. So for you to argue that because Ewers is a 7th-round pick, Art Fanning is not that good and not deserving of being first overall is asinine. It is wrong. It is incorrect.
I told you he's going to be number 1 overall. My whole thing was I'm buying
you're doing your thing now where you double down on a take that is incorrect.
The best quarterback prospect to ever hit college football can't play.
He's
over
not
a 7th-round
There were
pick
two
who didn't even
perfectly
play
rated
good.
quarterback recruits in the history of the sport.
Quinn Ewers couldn't even play at Ohio State. He couldn't even play at Ohio State.
Quinn Ewers. Go look it up.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Game Time Decisions. We're so happy to have you here on a Tuesday night. Consig is with us here. He's not on IGL tonight, so we get to keep Dave around a little bit longer, which you absolutely love to see. Consig, anything for the people, myself, before we kind of throw out all the remaining wagers to everybody here on this Tuesday night?
Another night, another Pirates under. Cincy and Pirates tied 0-0. What is that, through 5? 24 now in a row. Pirates have scored 4 or less. Just repeat it, put it in the game time discussions, chat, whatever you guys are doing. Just put it in there. The Phillies are going to beat the Rockies again. Zenzantella, no shot. That's for later. I think the Angels are live. Nice plus price. Just keep that rolling against the A's. And Seattle, we came on board yesterday with the Seattle stuff. Got a big grand slam from J-Rod. That was good. They'll probably win again today. So, and get this LeMahieu, a bomb on Dinger Tuesday against Corbin. Although I
didn't know
think he's got
J-Rod hit a grand slam. I have J-Rod's season-long home runs over. I think it's okay.
It's okay. It could be better.
It's not a crazy big number, though. It's not a crazy big number.
Okay.
So we got some life there. I also have a Wyatt Langford RBI number that's driving me crazy because all the guy does is hit home runs. But there's, we're not sprinkling doubles. There's nobody on in front of him. It's a little irritating.
What fantasy league did you forget to change the lineup? That's really concerning.
The only one I'm in. The only one I'm in. Here was the problem. So listen, and I'm at, we got to call higher ups. They said, hey, Kevin, talk more about your fantasy baseball team on air. I said, I got you. I leave the lineup alone. If you're going to start, you're going to start. Great. All of a sudden, Jason Dominguez doesn't make the starting lineup today. Should I have known that? Sure. Did I check? No. Dylan Cruz was on the bench. That is what it is. What it is. I couldn't switch it in time. Hits a home run. Is it my favorite moment of the fantasy season? Yes. Gets me better for tomorrow. So I couldn't be more excited to answer the bell and respond the way people want. Look, let's do this as we send everybody out of here quickly. At the break, Aces up 52-29.
Wow.
The Connecticut Sun trading away anyone who might be good in the offseason. Usually that happens sometimes in some leagues in season, in the offseason. And by the way, the Connecticut Sun were legit good. Makes for what feels like one of the very worst teams in basketball. And I don't know if this is just like a full-on, I'm just hand up. I don't know if this is a full-on tank. I don't know what we got going on here. But at some point, let's put Tina Charles on a real basketball team. Maybe Marina Mabry as well. Like this Connecticut thing, it probably gets worse before it gets better. Aces, though, team total on its way with 52. Nice to see Jewel Lloyd heat up. 2 players outscoring Aja at the break for the Aces. We like that because she's playing well. 14 for Young, 14 for Lloyd, 11 for Wilson. Caitlin Clark is on triple-double watch again. And I was talking to Dave about this during the break. The season-long triple-double ladder. But, she went to the favorite. She was the favorite to start the season for league MVP. The triple-double moved it even more. You get some of those tweets out there, the bet percentages. Caitlin Clark being legitimately in the MVP race is going to make for, I hope, such a fun conversation and season to follow where we get to focus all of our energy on the on-court product that this league's offering up, Consig.
It's fantastic. It's content. It's entertaining, and it's not contrived. It's earned. Yeah. It's fun. And we'll be able to talk about it with the passion and excitement that it deserves. That's what I'm excited about. I mean, some of the best sports bettors I have ever seen are WNBA bettors. Legit had a guy who drove a FedEx truck, was one of the sharpest guys I ever saw. His name was Espo. He bet this WNBA stuff. And I said, why are you betting this? He said, there's opportunity every day, Dave. Doesn't have to be baseball. Doesn't have to be regular sports. And that was it. This is good stuff.
But it does have to be Ann Edwards over the 25.5.
Let's go!
In Game Live's next.